So with women empowerment, with this whole process, you're a young lady, you're running for office, you founded your own charity. It's kind of amazing. It's been a crazy year with just sexism, women equality, gender equality. We've had Hillary Clinton, she lost to Donald Trump. We had the Women's March on Washington, which was absolutely amazing. We had the Day Without Women. And then on the flip side, we have Trump. He's our president. He says very disparaging things about women on a constant basis. He has a history, a record of saying things like that. We just had, a couple of days ago, Google was just accused of paying their female employees systematically lower wages than they were paying their male employees. How do you push through all this bullshit? Like, I feel like every time we take one step forward with gender equality, we go 10 steps back. Yeah. Like, what do you do and how do you get through all of this?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, the presidential election this past year was really emotionally triggering.
Yes,
because
definitely.
As a young woman, person of color who has experienced poverty and domestic abuse and sexual assault, we elected a man who kind of targets all of those things, and it was just so emotionally taxing. And for me, it was just I remember the night of the election, I just felt drained. And
it was long and it was tough.
Long,
oh
it
my
was
God.
tough. It was something where you tried to hold out hope until the very last minute, and then you saw, Pennsylvania come in and everything else.
Oh, jeez.
It was just like so difficult, but at the same time, it also relit a fire within me that I have not burned out and has only grown stronger with each day.
Congrats.
And with each piece of news that comes out that makes me more angry, the more motivated I become.
And it's true, because not to say that if Hillary Clinton were to be president, all of this, gathering community and fighting for a better tomorrow wouldn't happen. It's just I feel like because we have such a radical president to the right, people are coming together in droves, and it's impressive.
Yeah, absolutely.
Before we get to you running for city council, I do want to touch on a little bit about the Millennials in Action.
Yeah, so I was actually going to get to that.
Oh, beautiful. Yeah. So let's talk about that.
Millennials in Action stemmed from something that I started the night of the election. So,
oh, wow. Okay.
Donald Trump is elected. I was sitting in the freshman dining hall over there watching with my friends, and I was just like in tears around my friends, one of whom is gay, and walked out thinking half of America hates who I am. And I was sitting around friends, LGBTQ friends, Muslim friends, undocumented immigrant friends, who just this was so personal for them, right?
It really is.
There were so many emotions in the room. The few Trump supporters, I think, felt really silenced by it because the majority of this campus is very liberal.
Very.
And so there was just so much emotion in the room, and I was noticing that people just seemed really pent up, like they were kind of penting up their emotions. And so literally the election comes in, I'm waiting for Trump to give his acceptance speech. I get on my computer and I just started thinking what can I do now? How can we get that emotional reaction out?
Yes.
So I started this hashtag and just started messaging my friends saying, send me your election reaction piece. Just write down how you're feeling, write down what you think, send it to me. I'm going to post it on Huffington Post because I was a contributor there. I later learned that I was not allowed to publish guest posts, but I was very into the idea at the time. When Huffington Post emailed me and said, stop doing this.
Stop.
But within 2 days, we had over 300 submissions from students all over the country simply from social media outreach, and I did it with my friends Scott and Josh, and they're two of my best friends here. But we just started getting submissions from people all over. We had never met before, but people were just sharing this post that I had done that just said, I want to publish your piece.
Yeah.
Send me who you're feeling.
That is, you sound like the most productive and most effective working person I know. To go from literally, it took me a couple of days to even come to terms with the situation.
I had those moments, and I actually had an emotional outburst in class and had to step out because I was just so disappointed, I think. And I think I also just felt there's so much more I could be doing, because you look at the numbers and you realize we could have won with more youth participation.
Oh my goodness, yes.
Youth participation could have easily swayed the election results. So it's kind of that. And then, so Millennials in Action stemmed from this realization a week and a half later that all this emotion was out there, but
we're not doing anything
Yeah, and it
productive.
died down.
Yeah.
Like the emotion died down. You saw less and less posts. Things were dying down, and we were saying, "Oh my gosh, like this is still happening." It's not that Trump wasn't just elected; it was the fact that like this is still going on. It's only going to be further. So, with that Friday, I remember I was sitting in a room with my good friend Reed, who was like legislative director of the Harvard Democrats, and we were trying to think of how do we get young people in action. So we started Millennials in Action, which is now a media platform at millennialsinaction.org.
Yes.
That has like tons of election reaction stories. We have regular contributors from all over the country who are young people telling their stories, their reactions to what's happening in politics, or just their thoughts or their ideas. And the whole idea is to spark post-partisan discourse.
Okay.
So spark these conversations that's beyond party lines and beyond, personal things, but understanding different points of views and how we can get there. And the thing that's unique to us is that at the end of each piece, there's a link, and we work with the writer to figure out how can we get people to take action. So if someone writes a story about immigration,
yes,
there's a link
about
how you take action with an organization or with a cause or with a campaign. So you read one, you get inspired, and then there's a direct link to take action, and that's where we are.
And I love that you guys have that, because I think one of the stereotypes people have about millennials is that we're just not educated, but they think that we're not informed about politics and all that stuff. I feel like we are super informed. We just don't do anything about it.
Well, so that's what
great. Like I think what you're doing is absolutely amazing.
I would say we're